Hello and welcome to IOME Fitness and you're at home with Charlie. Today I'm going to show you how to make some really delicious flaxseed crackers. Great for on the go, and there are loads of versions that you can make. So the ingredients we have today are ground flax seeds, whole flax seeds which are also known as linseeds, raw cacao nibs, some raw cacao powder, hemp seeds, some olive oil infused with truffles and some honey. I'm also going to be adding different herbs into the mixtures just to give it a little bit of a different taste. I'm going to start by adding the ground flax seeds, so in they go. Ta-da! Then we're going to add the linseeds, so in they go. Now that pretty much makes, well, it's 100 grams of ground flax seeds and roughly 2 tablespoons, so about 20 grams of linseeds, and that makes up the base of the mixture. I'm going to add a little bit of water in, not too much. If you have a look at it, the consistency as I keep adding the water, it sort of changes, it becomes like quite gooey. So that's about enough water, I think. So now I'm just going to give that a good mix. Lovely. So I told you this is the quickest cracker recipe you'll ever find. So that's ready. So that's my base. Now I'm going to separate these into little sections just to make different kinds of flaxseed crackers. Each of these 5 parts I'm going to make a different version of the flaxseed cracker. So in my first version I'm going to make something a bit chocolatey because I like chocolate. Don't know about you, but I love it. So what I absolutely love about this, a lot of this is about experimentation. So the first one that I'm going to do, so I'm going to use them in these little pots. So I'm going to add some cacao nibs, which is there. I'm going to add a bit of cacao powder. And it's starting, the mixture's starting to harden up a bit, so I'm just going to add a tiny bit of more water, not too much. And I'm going to add a tiny bit of honey into this one, just to give it a tiny, not even a teaspoon, so just half a teaspoon of honey. And again, I'm going to mix this up. Now, once you've got your paste, so it's sort of a doughy paste, and once you've mixed it all up, you're then going to spread it out on a baking sheet. Now, it doesn't look very pleasant, but I promise you, when this is ready, it will taste delicious. So, that on there. Now, you want these to be as flat as you possibly can. So, in terms of, how thick, 1 to 2 millimeters max. So, you really do need to flatten them out. So I've flattened it out and it will look like that when it's flat, so it's really thin. And now I'm going to do a different version. So I'm using clean pot, and this one, again, they harden up quite quickly, so I'm going to have to add some water to this. So pop it in there, add a little bit of water, give it a little bit of mix. So this time I'm going to add some oats. So these are jumbo organic porridge oats. So I'm going to take a tablespoon and add it in. Again, I will need to add a little bit more water in just to make sure this mixes well. And the great thing with this is you can pretty much add whatever you like. So you can have lots of different sort of versions of them. And if you make a big batch, then you've got loads of different sort of tastes for on the go. So those are hemp seeds. So I'm just going to have a good... Oh, they're all falling out. Don't know the thing about this. It's really therapeutic. Because hemp seeds are quite shelly, so I don't really want a shelly taste in the crackers. That's great, so that's done. I'm going to add those into the mix. They won't come out. A little helping hand. What else am I going to put into this one? I'm going to add a little bit of salt, a pinch of salt. And now, again, I'm going to need to put more water in because my mix has started to harden. So give that a quick mix. Oh, I know one thing as well that I forgot that you could add into these, which are really great, are chia seeds. And chia seeds are great because they expand in water. So when you eat them, they'll make you feel fuller for longer. Okay, so that one's done. And again, I'm going to flatten this one. Now with this, you can see I've probably put a touch too much water in because it's gone a bit too gooey. So I'm just going to add a little bit more of the porridge oats. Lovely. Just to recover it a bit. Brilliant. So then for the next version, the very last version I'm going to show you, I'm going to get some of my herbs from my little herby garden here. So I'm going to go for some coriander. So this is coriander over here. So I'm just going to pick a bit of coriander, not too much. And I'm going to make some flaxseed crackers. And those of you who've used coriander before, it's got a very fragrant taste and it's really quite delicious. So here's my coriander. I've just washed it and now I'm going to, again, give it a good bash, sort of worked into a paste now because I don't really want any leaves in the crackers. And now I'm going to add my final bit of mix. So again, into the pot, I'm going to add a little bit of water. Then I'm going to add my coriander. So coriander, and you don't need that much coriander really because it's quite, as I said, it's a very strong sort of herb, so you'll taste it quite quickly anyway. I'm going to add, again, a little pinch of salt to this, and I'm also going to add a bit of olive oil infused with truffle. So touch of that, not too much. And do I want anything else? No, that's probably it for this one. So I'll give this a good mix. Again, this is another savoury one. And don't forget, there are things that you can add on top of these crackers as well. So, for example, if you know, the chocolate one, you could warm up a bit of dark chocolate, dip the crackers in the dark chocolate and then put them in the fridge. And it's only a very light coating of dark chocolate, which just gives it that, you know, little bit of an extra chocolate fix. Savoury crackers, you can add things like cream cheese. If you like goat's cheese, I love goat's cheese, so putting a little bit of creamed goat's cheese on top of the crackers is always delicious. Other things, like you can have them with berries, and you can have them with anything, any topping you want really. But as I said, if you make a few different versions of your flaxseed crackers, then you can sort of have a mix. One last tip before I put these in the oven. I'm going to sort of score them so that they're easy to break up when they come out of the oven, because if you don't, they can just fall to pieces. Now, when you put them in the oven, you want to put them in on about 190 degrees for a fan oven, and if you leave them in there for about 30 to 35 minutes, they should come out nice and crispy and tasty. And that is how you make flaxseed crackers.